All right, so if you know me in real life for longer than probably a week, give people about a week to warm up, then you know that I love true crime. I listen to podcasts, I love true crime documentaries, love it all. So I thought on my channel would be a great place to just combine makeup and murder. So I'm basically just gonna be sitting here doing my makeup for the day, and I'm gonna pick different cases and I'm just gonna go through and talk about them. The case that I chose to talk about today is the Kristin Smart case. So I know that this case has obviously come back around. I did just watch the documentary, or Dateline did a documentary thing last night about it. So Kristin Smart was born in Stockton, California. That is where she grew up. She went to Cal Poly for school. Her brother on Dateline, he was talking about how great she is, and I've honestly heard accounts multiple times. So I have listened to, like I said, podcasts about it. I will link Chris Lambert's Your Own Backyard down below because that's probably the most prominent one. It's a really good one. He spoke to the people involved. He really got into it and he did a great job covering this. So she goes off to college, and what I thought was really interesting was the fact that like her brother had, I don't want to say like a bad sense, but he didn't feel comfortable like leaving her. He just didn't understand college and like you just leave them there. But I just thought that was a very interesting tidbit from the Dateline interview. So they leave Kristin there for her freshman year at Cal Poly, and she ends up going out to a college party on May 25th, 1996. This is Memorial Day weekend. This is that Friday. So Friday, May 25th, 1996. I do have my notes here, so I will be kind of glancing at that if you see me reading off of something. And it has been stated in multiple places that this party was very boring, that there wasn't much going on. It was more just like a kickback, if anybody remembers kickbacks. It was just kind of like a kickback. So there was this story that this guy on the Dateline, I will try and link the episode because I am referencing a lot, but I just think it's really interesting because it just came out. I have never heard this account of the Kristin Smart case, which I don't know why I haven't. I don't know if he said it on the podcast. I did stop listening after a little bit just because it felt a little repetitive, but I kept up with the main points. So there was this guy there, and he said that Kristin just walked up to her and kissed him, like just randomly kissed him, and then took him into the bathroom. And he was trying to play it down, but I'm sure we were all knowing what he was thinking was gonna happen. It's talking about like, oh, do you think I'm pretty? Do you like me? Stuff like that. And he said he thought she was beautiful, which, great. I think it's so weird. Like, I don't know. He said that she was definitely under the influence of something, but nobody ever saw her drinking. So they're in the bathroom together, and then all of a sudden Kristin says like, I need to go to the bathroom, you need to get out. So he gets out of the bathroom, and waiting there is this guy who says like, what were you doing in the bathroom with her? Kind of insinuating he was almost with her. But the guy was like, nothing, we just talked or whatever. And he's like, the guy who was standing outside the bathroom just like laughs it off and whatever. But that was an account of the night that I have never heard. I thought that was a little interesting how, spoiler alert, Paul Flores was just already had his eyes on Kristin. Okay, so Kristin is passed out drunk on the front lawn of this party, and her friend comes out and says that she needs help getting Kristin home. So who do you think comes out and offers to get Kristin home? Paul Flores. I just think it's all too suspicious that he is there. He's constantly reoccurring. He's just there all the time. But him and her friend, they get Kristin to the dorm. So according to the friend that went with Paul and Kristin, She said that she split off from them and went back to her dorm, and that Paul said he was going to get Kristin back to her dorm safely. And that's her friend. She left. She trusted that Paul was going to do the right thing. So that is where we leave off on Friday night as far as anyone knows so far. So we're still in 1996. It is Friday at let's say 3 a.m. when all of this goes down, when they're leaving the party, everything like that. So the next morning, her friend that went with Paul and Kristin over to get her back to the dorm, she went into Kristin's room and she found her makeup, her purse, everything on her bed. And she said that Kristin would not go anywhere without that. And if you know your friends, you know. They always say oh, she could be doing this, she could be doing that. But if you know, you know. So her friend knew. She was just like, something's not right. I haven't heard from her. And it was, like I said, Friday night when she left her. So now this is Saturday morning. And she goes to local police, or the school campus police, and they don't do anything until Monday morning because it's a holiday weekend. When they do finally start looking for her, they don't even look in Paul's dorm. They don't even look in there. That's not even a thought in their mind. They just, the police dropped the ball so many times on this. And the current the current San Luis Obispo Sheriff's Office, he publicly states that many errors were made. So this is not secretive or anything like that, but they just completely botched the investigation from the get. So when the police finally do start looking for her on that Monday, they do question Paul. They don't look in his room or anything. I don't know if you have the legal right to if you're looking for someone, but either way, I feel like it just should have been looked into a little bit more than it was. So they ask Paul, and he just basically says oh, I left her, she was safe. That's it. And they're like, okay, cool, dude. You sound like a trustworthy guy. And that's it. They don't look further into it, which just, again, many balls dropped. This will be one of many that'll make people upset. So we just got to kind of hang in there and hope. We just got to hang in there. So they basically don't know where to look. They're not really looking into it all that much. But if you want to hear something that makes you even more mad, when they did talk to Paul on that Monday morning, he had a black eye and some scratches on his knees, on his hands. He was just scratched up. He claimed that it was from so in the first interview this Monday, he claims with the police that it was from a basketball game that same day. And so that's why it was so bad and blah, blah, blah. So they interviewed the guys that he played the basketball game with, and the guys said that Paul told them that he just woke up with the black eye because he showed up to the game with the black eye. So he just said he woke up magically with the black eye and has no idea how he got it. So that was already two different stories for the black eye. The third story was that he switched when he was talking to the police again and said that he got it while he was working on his car. I have never heard of anybody getting a black eye from working on their car. At this point, they don't have enough to actually hold Paul on, so they have to release him. So Paul gets completely let go. He's just a person of interest, but they have to completely let him go. And it just kind of stalls until about a month later that the sheriff's office actually gets the case, and the sheriff's office goes in and inspects Paul Flores's dorm room. But this is a month later at this point. He had more than enough time to hide evidence, to clean his dorm room. Everything was cleaned out. They were gone for the summer at this point. So any chance they had of getting any evidence from his dorm room is completely gone because they waited an entire month and he had full access to it. So what do you think you're gonna find? Clorox? But what they did have is they had 4 different cadaver dogs hit on the scent of human remains in Paul Flores's room a month later still. But they still don't have enough. They are also going to go to his parents' house, Susan and Ruben Flores. At the Flores' home, they find newspaper clippings from the Kristin Smart case. And their explanation is that they keep it because Paul went to school with her. So it's like memorabilia, which is weird. But it's not enough for the police to do anything. So at this point, the investigation really does stall. Like, Paul knows that if he doesn't say anything, the police have nothing. So he just pretty much picks up and moves to Southern California, which is probably about, I would say, like 4 hours away, 5 hours away, if that, depending on where he went. So he just picks up and moves down to Southern California. His parents buy him a house and he's living down there. But a year after Kristin's death, so we're in 1997, Kristin's parents actually sue Paul for Kristin's wrongful death. This is where we get a recorded deposition from Susan Flores, Paul Flores, and Ruben Flores. So these are the only recording, like, interviews that we have of them, and it's from this deposition because they just sued him, basically. Setting spray. So we basically, even though it was recorded, we still got nothing. He pretty much pleaded the fifth the entire time. The only one thing that Dateline really emphasized that police got from it was the fact that when Ruben Flores, so Paul's dad, when he was asked, did your son ever tell you that he did not kill Kristin Smart? So his response to this was, well, I never asked him that question. Why not, Ruben? Why not just ask him? Because at this point, he's really the only person in question. So that's all we really get from that entire deposition. So then I think it's, 2002, Kristin Smart's family has her declared dead, which now this can become a murder investigation. They can start looking for a body. But unfortunately, that doesn't really gain any traction. It doesn't take the investigation and any new leads. It doesn't really do too much. Paul is basically just living down in LA. He is racking up a bunch of DUIs at this point. And there was a woman on Dateline that actually went home with Paul one night, and she thinks that he drugged her and had his way with her. She said she was conscious, she knew it was happening, but she just couldn't say no. And she woke up groggy the next morning without drinking anything. So it's kind of the same similarity with Kristin, but it's like he's just able to do all this stuff. And how has nobody talked to the women down in LA? Like, how have they not come forward if there have been this many? I don't know. I just have a lot of questions, okay? So we're just going to roll with my thoughts here. I do have it planned out, but still. This case really, it does stall out until about 2019 when Chris Lambert starts his podcast, Your Own Backyard. This really kind of catapulted Kristin Smart's case into the mainstream again and got people talking about it again. He started talking to people around, everything like that, and just kind of lit a fire for this case again, which I think was really needed because it obviously wasn't going anywhere. So this was March 2020 when the official search warrant was done, that they brought the rakes and stuff, and they did underneath the deck at Ruben Flores's house. They searched and there was blood that tested positive for human blood. And they strongly believe that Kristin's body was there. And they believe that Paul would not have been able to move the body by himself. So who do you think helped him? Mommy and Daddy. Like, who else? On April 13th of 2021, Paul was arrested for the involvement of Kristin Smart And then the dad, Reuben, was arrested for an accessory. So they were behind bars as of April 13th of this year. And just this past September that just happened, a judge actually ruled that there was enough evidence for them to take it to trial. So the trial date is now set for April 25th, 2022, which I think is going to, I don't know if they're going to cut a deal and tell them where Kristin's body is, but that has been the one big thing that they have held on to. So let me put my mascara on and we'll do some final thoughts. Okay, so I just slapped some mascara and eyeliner on, and the sun is really coming in. So, final thoughts. I do think that obviously Paul did it, Reuben helped, not kill, but hide and conceal and protect his son. I hope that there's going to be resolution with Kristin's body. I do hope that maybe they'll strike a deal, and in exchange for where Kristin's body is, they'll, I don't know, maybe not get the death penalty. I don't know. But I do think that it is just a matter of time, hopefully, until we find her. But that is it. So thank you guys so much for hanging in there for my first murder and makeup series. I'm very choppy, but I promise I will get better as I start to do it more. But I really had fun, so I hope you guys did too. If you have any questions, if you have any other information, please leave them in the comments down below. And if you want to see any other like murders, let me know. I had a lot of fun. Thanks guys. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.